Hi guys, welcome back. So today we'll be discussing about Marico. And I think all of us, at least once in a lifetime, or either when we are growing up or still right now, we are probably using one of Marico's products, right? I think it has been a part of everybody's childhood in one or the other way, right? So and not only this, I believe Marico has been a wealth creator in the last decade, in the past decade, for a lot of investors that are out there. But has this, will it continue to create wealth, or will the business momentum? Of course, it had a great business momentum back then. So what about this business momentum? Will it continue? How is the earnings momentum right now in the current scenario? Today we're going to talk more about that, right? So as usual, before I jump into the numbers and explain you the results, first let us try and understand what does the business do, what is the product, right? So first thing first, Marico kya karta hai? What is the business model of Marico? So Marico does or it sells FMCG product. Now, what is FMCG product? Fast moving consumer goods, right? Something that you're using every day on a day to day basis. That is called FMCG products. Now, when you talk about FMCG products, here is the thing. What do they cater to? They have different product categories. The first thing I think most of us, I think, especially if you're a girl, you would have used is a parachute coconut oil, right? That is one thing, and it contributes around, I would say, 40% to the revenue. And of course, they have a huge market share in the Indian market here, and also they stand number one in the entire country for selling that product. The second space, or the second most important revenue, comes from the edible oil. Now, what is edible oil? I think all of y'all would have seen this Saffola oil ad, right? The vegetable oil or the sunflower oil or the rice bran oil. So that is another thing where I think the revenue share is somewhere around 25%. And here also they do hold they are the market leader. Other than that, of course, they have the value added hair oil. The value added hair oil is just like parachute, but something, I think you would have seen this parachute advanced or amla ka hair oil, which is not just a branded coconut oil, but you add some things extra, and of course it is priced a bit high. So there is this value added hair oil. The fourth product category they have is the healthy foods. That is your Saffola oats, or Saffola soya chunks and all of that. So that is another thing. And here they have second, they stand number two in the market share. The other things are, again, is the premium hair nourishment hota hai, which is the serums and all that the ladies use, for example, Livon, that is one of their brands. And of course, they have the other thing is that male grooming products such as Set Wet. I think if you're a guy, you would have probably used that Set Wet hair gel and beard gel, wax and the cream, right? So that these are the products they have, and the product categories that are there with them, right? Now, why am I stressing so much here on the FMCG part is, since this FMCG goods are something that use day to day or daily things, right? These goods have, of course, there is a lot of competition here, not just from the other brands, but also in the local unorganized market. That is one. The second thing here is, when you talk about FMCG, these products are low margin products and high in volume. Remember this: low margin, low profit margin, but high in volume. Now, why am I stressing high in volume? Is because, see, when you talk about growth, right, there are two kinds of growth, especially in FMCG. When you have to see, there is one is volume growth and one is value growth. I think I keep stressing about this in almost all of my consumption business that I talk about. Now, what is volume growth? Volume growth is that, let's say, if you have a product, you're selling more of that product, right? Instead of selling 10 units, you're selling 20 units, 30 units, 40 units as the quarter progresses. Value product is your revenue is coming by increasing the price of the product. That's it. Let's say you're keeping 10, you're having 10 products, and next time also you're selling 10, but the revenue increases because that price of the product has changed. Earlier you used to sell one product for 10 rupees, now you're selling for 20 rupees, right? So because of that, your revenue also increases. So here what happens is, volume growth becomes very important, because you can't keep increasing the price here for FMCG product. आप कितने देर तक parachute का oil का price will you increase? How long will you keep increasing the oil ka price, right? You don't have that monopoly here, because let's say you do increase the price as much as you want, however you want, then what happens? People will hinder back from buying your products now, and then they will go buy some other products. There will be down trade also that can happen, and of course, because the plethora of brands that are available today, people will go buy that also. So as a result, what happens here? Volume growth becomes a very important factor. So that is one thing. So how has the volume growth been? If you see over the last 1 year, आप Q1 FY23 से देख लो, until now the volume growth has been stagnant. Either it has been around very low single digit volume growth, 5 to 6% back in Q1 FY23. Now also, hardly any volume growth, I think hardly 3%. Versus in the between, there was a volume degrowth in Q2 FY23, Q3 FY23 and all. So why is this volume we are seeing, all of a sudden, a company that was catering to high volume growth in double digit volume, all of a sudden, why did it go into a single digit volume growth? The whole thing gets connected to one thing, and that is inflation. As you know, once we were coming out of COVID, we came into a very high inflation environment, right? Because of course the government was printing money, and then the interest rate increased, right? All of that, and of course you understand the whole process, and because of that, the inflation also increased. Now, जब inflation increase हुआ, there are two kinds. One is from the company side. There, the raw materials that they were buying. For example, आपको सफोलो oil बनाने हैं, right? And you need the raw material for that. There also their price increased, right? So they have to increase the product price. That is a product that they're selling, uska bhi price increase karna padega to maintain their margin. Here even the consumer is facing inflation. Why? Because every single thing that you see the product out there has the prices increase. So even the consumer is also facing inflation here, right? So as a result, what happens? Of course, when the economy is not doing great, when the inflation is there, right, people's propensity to spend becomes less. And who buys most of these products? The rural people, the lower middle class, and the upper middle class, right? This is where most of the inflation also affects, and this is where you can see the volume growth also happening, right? And here what happens, of course, as the inflation rises, people's propensity to buy this product decreases, right? I think the best um, way to understand this is, if you have a mom who's a homemaker, or if you have a wife, who's a homemaker, I think they'll probably understand inflation in a much better way. If you see that the tomato prices are increasing for 200 rupees per kg, you will see that those people will stop buying tomatoes. Or even dhania ka price bhi, right? If it increases from $5 to $10 for a bunch, they will stop using dhania in the cooking, and they'll find new ways to do it. So as a result, what happens when inflation increases, people's propensity to buy the product decreases. And let's say earlier they would be lavishly buying, let's say 2 kgs or 3 kgs. Now they become very conservative in buying that product. Because of this, the volume growth has come down, all because of inflation. The second thing also, like right now, what has happened is, remember I was talking about volume growth. And if I take इनका एक product का segment, let's say for example parachute, which is the number one product segment, वहाँ पे volume degrowth हुआ है by -2%. So negative volume degrowth. That is one thing, right? The second, this is on a year-on-year basis, of course. The second thing is, of course, if you see the Saffola ka edible oil that is there also it has been it has been a low double digit on a volume growth on a negative basis. If you see the third, which is their value added products, that is like that soya chunks and oats and all of that, वहाँ पे भी volume growth flat है, right? So, and all of this growth that you're seeing, क्या बोलते हैं, it has only been driven by value, that is by increasing the price. इसलिए अगर आप देखोगे, उनका top line भी on a year on year basis has reduced by 3%. और PAT जो देख रहे हो, that expansion in PAT has been due to other income, right? So now you understand what the problem is. Now, other thing is, what is the current situation that that the company is facing as of Q1 FY24? Of course, volume degrowth हो रहा है. The second thing is, most like the revenue will come, right? Like like I told you, volume growth aa jayega when you go and sell more of your products, and this will come for a company like Marico when you keep increasing your distribution, right? Now, अगर आप देखते हो शहर में, तो हर जगह में आपको Marico का product मिलेगा, right? ये तो फैला हुआ है. So right now, if you have to penetrate and do all of this distribution, you have to get into T3, T4, all of these rural economies. And rural economy क्या हो रहा है? Rural economy is still recovering, right? And that green upshoot जो tick होना चाहिए volume में, they're still awaiting it. It has not yet happened. That is number one. So what is the long-term to medium-term plan that this company is having? So one thing is also, of course, the volume growth that they're telling will improve, might improve. And this also again depends heavily on your monsoon season, because Q2, as Q2 comes, Q2 is monsoon season. Now, why monsoon season? See, most of the people who are living in the rural economy, they make money through what? Agriculture. अगर agriculture में crop का कुछ हो गया due to monsoon, या harvest season में कुछ हो गया, of course these people would pick money, then they would spend on buying these products, right? Like I told you, जब उनका ही हालत अच्छा नहीं होगा, how can they buy? The propensity to spend will be lesser. So maybe again, even in Q2, the volume can also be, again, there can be a volume degrowth again because of this whole monsoon ka season or monsoon ka shift that can happen. That's one thing. The second thing that we can talk about is like, okay, Prerna, I understand volume growth is there, inflation की वजह से volume growth नहीं हो रहा है, but you're talking about the current situation, क्योंकि if you see the data, inflation is decreasing, right? 7% से 5%, 4% it is happening. So of course, don't you think the volume growth will increase and XYZ things? So here is the thing. When you talk to the management, when you see their long to midterm, that is when you see to 3 to 5 years, if I have to talk about, they are telling that the volume growth will be in, sorry, the revenues that they can do will be in the range of, in the mid teens to low teens. So that will be probably in the 13 to 15%, yeah, 13 to 16 to 18% kind of range. That is the range that they're targeting. Now, here is the thing: as an investor, if you're okay, like currently, right now, if you ask me as of Q1 FY24, would I buy this? No, absolutely not. I wouldn't be buying the stock, because it doesn't make sense to buy something that is trading at, at high PE, and not just that, at 70,000 crore ka market cap. Why would I be paying for at 70,000 crore ka market cap में जब top line degrow हो रहा है, volume growth ही नहीं है, which is the most important factor for FMCG company. अगर ये ही नहीं, so why would I be paying up, right? Why would I be paying up such high PE? That doesn't make sense. Going forward also, like if you even tell me like 3 to 5 years ka term, why again also, like for a hardly like a low double digit growth, low double digit growth, I wouldn't want to pay so much also, right? Because there are so many other better opportunities in the market. Having said that, so that's that about Marico. At the end of the day, like if you as an investor are okay, I think as an investor, what really matters at the end of the day is your investment and expectations, your investment philosophy, and your expectations has to be in line. You can't be expecting a 20 to 25% ka growth in Marico, and and expect that right now, because Marico ka phase of giving you that 25% ka volume growth has gone. Because when you see the last decade, that was a decade they were, being very aggressive with the distribution. It was a new company, they were going into different cities in India, and they were coming up with the new products. But right now that you see, it is Marico is there everywhere. I don't see them adding even more distribution. Even if they do add, it will be in a rural area, rural economy. And how much more can they do there, when you see today most of the premiumization that we talk about, everything is coming from a metro city, from an urban city. So that is one thing, right? So as a result, for me as an investor, like it doesn't make sense to be buying Marico. But again, having said that, do your own due diligence. And that's that about Marico. I hope you'll got a sense of what I want to talk. So anyways, have a nice day, and see you again next time. Bye.